just saying that Chimp Jericho is a putz.
You don't mean that.
Yeah, I do. We should hit him with hammers.
It's not a very nice thing to do, is it, Barry? That's not what we do.
Why haven't you learned ventriloquism yet? I can see your mouth moving.
Shut up. Here is your wrestling news. Is a WWE Star already out of Retribution? We have an update on Ridge Holland following his injury on NXT, and a former champion making their WWE in-ring return next week. Find out who in a little bit. We start with Retribution, the group modelled after whoever tried to break into my lockup that time. Get away, you ruffian! I know your dad. So Mercedes Martinez doesn't seem to be as close to the Retribution lads and lasses as she was just a few short weeks ago. So Mercedes Martinez was part of that initial reveal after this rogue group got contracts for the company, and it looks as if, like all the other guys in the groups, Slapjack, T-Bar, Mace, Reckoning, Flabberdag, Booty Boo, and Jeff, all changed their Twitter handles to match their Retribution characters. So they've been doing stuff online and they've been kicking up a storm. They've actually been very entertaining on social media. But Mercedes Martinez hasn't been a part of this. In fact, all the members of Retribution seem to be following each other, but not Mercedes Martinez. Nor does Mercedes Martinez have a cool Retribution name that she has rechristened herself on Twitter either. She seems very removed from all of this. So there is some question now as to whether or not Mercedes Martinez will be part of the group going forward. Don't quite know what could have caused that, whether or not it's a case that creative has changed for her, she has other plans going on, or whether or not there's an injury there. We don't know, but it certainly feels as if there is some distance between Mercedes Martinez, one of the original members of the group, and the rest of them. So we'll see how this pans out. I mean, a slight rumour killer on this. Mercedes Martinez is listed as part of Retribution in the WWE's draft pool. We'll talk about that in just a second. So it may suggest that it's just maybe Mercedes just isn't bothered about doing all the Twitter stuff and isn't that invested in the stuff away from the ring. We don't really know. You'd have thought they'd have had her change hers as well, but we will see. Be a shame if she ends up not being a part of this faction. I feel like Mercedes Martinez has got something to offer a group like Retribution. I feel like she fits the mold really well. So we'll have to obviously keep an eye on this one and see where it goes. But yeah, Retribution are eligible for draft this week as the draft begins on Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, that in itself is quite funny, isn't it? You know, we're here to destroy the company from inside out. We're gonna rip the soul out of the WWE. Yeah, we'll have them on SmackDown. That's great. You're not gonna draft them, are you? But the rules and the pools have been revealed for the WWE draft via Fox Sports, and this is how it breaks down. 60 male, female superstars and tag teams, all in the WWE draft this year. More than 20 superstars are eligible to be drafted on Friday night. More than 30 are eligible to be drafted on Monday night, obviously because Monday is a longer program. Due to the length of Raw compared to SmackDown, what it means is, like last year, for every 2 picks that SmackDown gets, Raw is going to get 3. Tag teams are going to count as 1 pick unless stated deliberately otherwise. So it means, like, I doubt we're going to see any tag team split up. Although Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are listed in the pool separately, so that's weird. I thought you'd put them together since you're making them a new team. Be that as it may. Any undrafted superstars are going to be declared free agents and able to sign with the brand of their choosing. We could get a couple acting on the Heath Slater rule this particular year in the draft, but we will find out. And now, night 1 tonight on SmackDown. So there's different pools for different nights. Both the WWE and the Universal Champion are in tonight's pool, which suggests that we could see a brand switcheroo, which would be quite intriguing. Not saying that we will, but it's very, very possible. It's a much bigger pool on night 2, because obviously Raw is 3 hours long. Some of the Raw Underground guys are in the mix there, like Arturo Ruas and Dabba Kato. Maybe SmackDown Underground is coming soon. Or maybe we may just see these guys just enter the mix and do some really good stuff. The draft begins tonight on SmackDown, on Friday Night SmackDown, and it continues on Monday Night Raw. It's time to shake things up again. NXT will not be involved with the draft. I know we've gone back and forth on that one for quite a while, but on the subject of NXT. An update for you on Ridge Holland, who suffered a pretty nasty looking injury on NXT this past week. Now, an update from the NXT injury report, which is a video that just seems to be getting longer and longer on their YouTube channel lately. So Holland underwent surgery yesterday and is not medically cleared to compete, obviously. This follows him catching Oney Lorcan and falling back on his leg. He has suffered a left ankle dislocation and fracture, a right knee patella dislocation, and a patella tendon rupture. The knee dislocation was popped back in place at ringside, the ankle was put back in place at the hospital, but now the journey back begins. And it's looking as if, according to some sources, this is going to be 6 months to a year that we're not going to see Ridge Holland on the books, which is devastating news for Ridge, who is just about to start the story of his career with Adam Cole. No doubt, Big Yorkshire boy will come back better and stronger. So this came down yesterday. Candy Cartwright, real name Samantha Tavel, is suing Matt Riddle, WWE and Evolve for $10 million. This follows on from the Speaking Out movement in the summer. So Candy Cartwright, alongside her attorney, John Chorzinski, have said that a multitude of assaults from 2017 through to January 2020 is the reason behind this suit. They've said that Cartwright had bookings with WWE and Evolve on January 31st, 2020, but she, after refusing to perform certain acts on Riddle, had her bookings cancelled due to, quote, issues with the talent. This comes from the press conference that was held yesterday. Chorzinski said he's sending copies of the lawsuit to both the state attorney's office and the Summit Police Department, where the incident allegedly took place. Now, also at the press conference, he said, WWE has painted a picture over the course of the years that female performers are to comply with certain rules. The WWE, since its inception, has hypersexualized female performers, and they've profited from male aggression against these female performers. WWE has responded in a statement to PW Insider and said, WWE has not been served with a lawsuit by Miss Tavel. However, if served, we will vigorously defend ourselves and contest it. We will have more on this when we get it at cultaholic.com. This weekend is a massive one for independent wrestling as GCW's The Collective kicks off today. So back at WrestleMania week, there was an entire week of wrestling planned by GCW, but obviously due to the cancellation of WrestleMania, all those events did not take place. They are now taking place this weekend before socially distanced fans at the Marion County Fieldhouse. It's a massive weekend. I'm going to give you some of the cliff notes from some of the 12 shows that are taking place across the weekend. So it kicks off today with Jimmy Lloyd's Generation F, Colby Carino, Atticus Cougar in a death match. That should be good times. Southern Underground Pro Swing of the Axe has Lee Moriarty and Daniel McCarvey, which I think might be a sleeper of the weekend. Just putting that out there. Thunder in Indianapolis follows that one by AIW. Get this, Danhausen, who you may have heard on Straight to Hell, taking on Mordecai. Oh, that's all too many throwbacks for my brain to imagine. And then GCW's For the Culture takes place later on tonight. Too Cold Scorpio in action in that one, along with JTG, Shug D, Pineapple Pete, ACH, AJ Gray, Marty Bell, Willow Nightingale. It's a massive lineup for the Culture. Really excited to see this one going down. Then tomorrow, it's Effie's Big Gay Brunch. GCW putting on a show hosted by Effie, featuring Sonny Kiss, Cassandro del El Exotico, who's just, chef's kiss. Love Cassandro. Still live with apricots and pears from oh gosh, what a unique performer you're going to see in action there. Also, Alley Cat and, of course, Effie and his dog Cranberry are going to be part of that show. It's going to be amazing. Glory Pro putting on Are You Wrestling Son? Warhorse defending the IWTV heavyweight title in that one. And we're going to see ACH and AJ Gray go one-on-one. That will be a good time. Joey Janela's Spring Break 4. Here's the card for this, right? Alex Shelley and Tony Deppen. Joey Janela and Ricky Morton. Jonathan Gresham, Lee Moriarty, ACH and Leo Rush, and the Cluster FUCK Battle Royal. I can't say it, will get demonetized. Then Freelance Underground wrapping up Saturday night with Kylie Ray versus Josh Alexander for the Freelance title. Then Sunday, Black Label Pro putting on Threat Level Noon. A Nexus reunion is taking place with Fred Rosser and Heath teaming up in the main event. Plus, Danhausen and Effie facing Carlito and Chris Masters. This is all very 2005, isn't it? Shimmer on Sunday as well. A big show from Shimmer, including Kimberly defending the Shimmer Championship against Nicole Savoy. Following that, it's Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Finally, we're getting the Bloodsport show. John Moxley and Chris Dickinson in there. Homicide and Tom Lawler facing each other. A one-night women's Bloodsport tournament. Allysin Kay and Killer Kelly. Lindsay Snow and Lila Hirsch. Winners facing each other for that one. Simon Grimm's a part of that as well. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is going to be there. Josh Alexander, that should be a good time. And the whole weekend wraps up with Paradigm, Trap Soul. They're putting on a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. It's a massive weekend for independent wrestling. You can watch the whole thing on Fight TV, all under the GCW banner. Best of luck to everybody involved. Really glad to see this event finally becoming a thing. And finalement, a former champion returning to in-ring competition in WWE next week. Pete Dunne is back in the ring. So we haven't seen Pete wrestling since before the pandemic. He ended up back in the UK, couldn't defend the tag team titles in NXT, which led to him forfeiting his version of the belt to Timothy Thatcher. And then we haven't seen anything from him since. He popped up on NXT UK a couple of weeks ago to oversee the Heritage Cup tournament announcement. He was involved in the tournament last week as a guest referee, but next week he gets back into the ring. He's teaming up with Ilya Dragunov to face off against Volta and Alexander Wolf. This should be a really cool match that continues to set up not just Pete Dunne, who got into the face of Wolf the other week, but also we're building to, at the end of this month, Ilya Dragunov challenging Volta for the NXT UK Championship. I'm really happy to see Pete Dunne back in a wrestling ring, and hoping when all this blows over, we can see more of Pete Dunne back in NXT, not just in the UK, but in the one-off of America as well, because it's good to see a Brummie doing well in the wrestling world. Love You By Friday is back today from 2 o'clock. It is you, it is I, it is live Skype calls straight to Twitch. What could possibly go wrong? Twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Stay safe. Love you, bye.